Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers at 1:03 a.m. My phone buzzed on a nightstand. I was half asleep, the room dark except for the soft blue glow from the screen. My wife, Hannah, had texted me. "Hannah, don't wait for me tonight." That was it. No explanation. No emoji. Just 5 words that sat on the screen like a weight on my chest. I stared at it for a long time. Hannah and I had been married for 7 years. She wasn't the type to send vague messages in the middle of the night. Usually, if she was out late with coworkers or friends, she'd text earlier. Something like "girls' night ran late" or "heading home soon." But this felt different. I typed back, "Everything okay?" The message showed delivered, then read, but the 3 dots never appeared. I lay there listening to the silence of the house, the refrigerator humming faintly in the kitchen, the slow ticking of the wall clock. My mind kept circling that message. Don't wait for me tonight. It sounded less like information and more like permission. For the first hour, I tried to convince myself I was overthinking it. Maybe she had crashed at her friend Melissa's place. Maybe they'd had too much wine and decided to keep talking all night like they used to in college. But something kept scratching at the back of my mind, because lately things had been off. It started small. A few weeks earlier, Hannah had begun taking her phone everywhere, even to the bathroom. If I walked into a room unexpectedly, she'd tilt the screen away just a little too quickly. One night, while we were watching TV, a notification popped up, a name I didn't recognize. Ryan. When I casually asked who it was, she said, "Just a guy from work. Project stuff." Her voice had been light, but her fingers moved fast, flipping the phone face down. At the time, I told myself not to be that guy, the jealous husband digging for problems that weren't there. But lying in bed that night, staring at the ceiling at 2:15 a.m., the memory felt different. My phone buzzed again. For a second, my heart jumped, but it wasn't Hannah. It was a notification from our home security app. Front door camera motion detected. I frowned. That was strange. Hannah wasn't home yet. I opened the app and tapped the clip. The video loaded slowly, the little circle spinning. Then the footage appeared. The timestamp read 12:47 a.m. The camera showed our driveway. A car I didn't recognize was parked outside. A man stepped out of the driver's seat. Even through the grainy night vision, I could see he was tall, broad-shouldered. Then the passenger door opened. Hannah stepped out. My stomach dropped. She was laughing. That soft, unguarded laugh I hadn't heard much lately. The man walked around front of the car. They stood close, closer than co-workers usually stand. Then he reached out and tucked a loose strand of her hair behind her ear. A small, intimate gesture. My chest tightened as I watched them talk. After a few seconds, Hannah leaned forward and hugged him. Not the quick, polite kind. A long hug. The kind where your bodies stay pressed together a moment too long. I replayed the clip 3 times, hoping I'd misunderstood it. But the truth sat there in black and white. She wasn't at Melissa's, and she wasn't coming home. I sat on the edge of the bed, my phone still in my hand, feeling something inside me slowly fracture. 7 years. 7 years of shared rent payments. Sunday morning coffee, inside jokes, late night talks about the future. And suddenly, I was looking at a version of my wife I didn't recognize. For a while, I just sat there, staring at the video. Then I did something I hadn't planned. I took a screenshot, not of the hug, but of the moment right before it, when they were standing inches apart, looking at each other like the rest of the world didn't exist. Then I opened our text conversation. Her message still sat there. Don't wait for me tonight. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Part of me wanted to call her, to demand an explanation. Another part of me, the quiet, exhausted part, already knew the truth. Instead, I opened the security app again. I scrolled to a different clip, one from earlier that evening. 8:12 p.m. Hannah leaving the house. She had paused in front of the hallway mirror before walking out, adjusting her hair, smiling at her reflection. A smile I hadn't seen directed at me in months. I took a screenshot of that too. Then I sent it to her. A single picture, no caption, just the image of her leaving our home hours before she told me not to wait. The message showed delivered. Then read. This time, the three dots appeared immediately. They blinked for a long time, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, a message came through. You were watching the cameras? I stared at the screen. My thumbs moved slowly. I wasn't. A pause. Then I typed the rest. But now I see everything. 3 minutes passed before she replied. When her message finally came through, it was longer. It's not what you think. I let out a bitter laugh in the quiet room. That sentence, the oldest line in the book. I didn't argue. I didn't accuse. I just sent one more picture. The screenshot of her hugging him in the driveway. This time, the typing dots never appeared again. Morning came slowly. The sun pushed pale light through the blinds, and I sat at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee that had long gone cold. At 7:42 a.m., the front door finally opened. Hannah stepped inside. She looked tired. Her hair was messy, her makeup smudged, but when she saw me sitting there, something else crossed her face. Fear. For a few seconds, neither of us spoke. Then she said quietly, "You saw it." It wasn't a question. I nodded once. "Yeah," I said. Her eyes filled with tears almost immediately. And in that moment, I realized something strange. I wasn't angry anymore. Just tired. Tired of the lies. Tired of pretending we were still the same two people who'd promised forever. She stepped closer. "I was going to tell you." I looked down at the phone on the table between us. The pictures were still open on the screen. "I think you already did," I said softly. The silence that followed felt like the end of something. Not explosive, not dramatic, just quiet, like a door closing slowly on a life that wasn't ours anymore.